Hello. God, my makeup looks good. Welcome to July's vlog. It's been a weird month. Do I say this every single month? Probably. It's just that it was my last month at work, and I don't know, I think physically and emotionally it's been a little bit strange, but you will see that in the vlog. I'm trying to be quite concise because the vlog's already like 43-minute long. I'm gonna try and keep it under 45, she says, rambling. But yeah, so it's been a bit hard on that side. I think, my body's been really tired and I can really feel it, and so has my mind. I think I've been saying for months like I'm on the verge of a burnout and that's why I want to quit. I think the verge was actually past but I haven't really been able to admit it to myself. I think I was past the verge. But yeah, I mean, at the time that I'm recording this, it's already like mid-August, and I'm slowly recovering, I'd say. I don't know. Anyway, that'll be it for the August vlog. But I've also had some really great moments. I'm really, again, grateful that I have some great friends and my family. I got to go home. I think another reason why I was quite depressed, let's say the words, in July was because of the genocide and the news of the man-made famine in Gaza. So I went to a few protests about this, and I've tried to do what I can from here, but you just feel really powerless, and it's really hard to understand what's happening, as in obviously you understand what is happening, but understand how it can happen, like how we can let this happen. I've done, apart from that, some really nice cultural things which you will see, and I've had a lovely little holiday in the Isle of Wight with Cameron. It was really wonderful. I fell in love with the island and with our Airbnb, which you will see. It was really nice. So that was good, and I got to see my friend Annabelle there and her kids. And then at the end of the month I spent some time at home and got to see my family, which just really made me feel better because I had a bit of a dip by the end of the month. For my last few days at work, and because of the news. So yeah, I mean, it's life, I guess, ups and downs. I hope you will enjoy. And one more thing also, I had some really great reads this month, so I hope you will like them too. I will see you next month, and thank you again for watching. This goes mainly to my friends because I know it's mainly my friends watching, but yeah, it's still no progress editing whatsoever. I'm still using iMovie because I've had zero time to learn anything else, but they make me really happy, those little vlogs, so lots of love. Started the month off by going for lunch outside with Cam. We went to Din Tai Fung, which is a Taiwanese restaurant, and then in the evening we went to Miga with my friend Jess for Korean food. I never usually go out twice in a day to have food, but it was really nice to start my last month of work this way. What did we think about the restaurant, Miga?
It was really good.
Really
good. Fried chicken was amazing.
Yeah, we recommend it to all our viewers. I have 2 weddings this summer, and I have dresses for one of them but not for the other, because it's a religious Muslim wedding, and I have to be covered. There's 2 parts to the wedding. One's religious and the other one is on the beach. So I have bought some dresses. I don't do a lot of shopping at all, only when really I need something specific. So I bought 2 dresses for this wedding. I want them to be quite understated, so I got this black dress fully covered for the religious ceremony, and this beige dress for the beach party. So I was thinking we could try them on together. One thing is I was looking, because it's a summer wedding in Malaysia. It's one of my best friends from university who's Malaysian, and so I really didn't want any synthetic fabric, so they are I didn't want any polyester, so they're really breathable. One's in cotton and the other one I don't remember, but they're really breathable, good quality fabric. And I also wanted dresses that I could wear for a really long time and I could wear again. So this is the first one. This is kind of the top. It's quite this heavy cotton material. You have to imagine it with a lot of accessories, right? I think I'm going to wear big earrings and some bracelets and obviously some heels. But this is what it looks like. Kind of this puffy dress, kind of very cinched but fully covered. You see it's long, and actually I think with heels it will be okay. This is the second one. This is for the beach party, so it needs to be long, but it can be a bit more woo, which you can tell it is. And actually I was wrong, the length is perfect. With heels it will be perfect. I really like this one. I mean, it's sexy. I really like the shape of it. Like I like these. It's simple, but it's really nice. So this one's definitely a yes. I was really worried about the décolleté situation, but I think it's actually fine. Excuse my face, I just came out of the shower, but earlier today I bought this Tony's Chocolonely bar, and it's a flavor I've never tried before, so let's try it together. It's milk chocolate bar. Oh, it's called the everything bar. It's milk chocolate with caramel, pretzel, almond, nougat, and sea salt. I don't usually put it in the fridge, but I did tonight because there's literally a heat wave outside. So it's a bit hard for my liking, but I'll still have the taste. It's good. I love when there's pretzel and chocolate and sea salt. I'm like balancing you in between my thighs right now. See, if I do this, you see a piece of my thigh. It's good, it's approved. All of the chocolate that I've tried from them, it's really good. It's freaking expensive, but apparently it's environmentally and socially conscious. And it's good, so if that's true, it's worth it. The update, I had a whole row now, and it's very, 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 very sweet. I think it's because of the mix of milk chocolate and nougat, nougat, I don't know. That makes it very sweet, so it gets a bit bleh if you have too much, you know. But still good, just a little bit. First book I finished this month is called Reservoir Bitches by Dahlia de la Cerda. She's a Mexican author, so it's originally written in Spanish. I wanted to read it in Spanish, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I think there's a lot of Mexican slang in it, which I wouldn't have necessarily understood, or it would have made it less fluid for me to read, but maybe I will reread it in Spanish. I think that would be a good idea now that I know what the story is about. So it's fiction, but very much inspired by reality, unfortunately. Every chapter is the story of a different woman. Some are intertwined, like some it's this kind of the same story-ish, from the perspective of the friend or the sister of a woman who's been murdered, for example. Yeah, so trigger warning, there's a lot of violence, sexual assault, rape, femicide, misogyny, transphobia, all of that. But I think it's a very necessary book. It's very intense, it's beautifully written, it's very raw. I love the fact that there is Mexican folklore and like tales sprinkled in the middle. So she talks about, you know, different gods, different stories of demons and things like that, of brujeria, which is like sorcery. Sorcery, I think that's how you say it. Yeah, I thought it's one of my best reads of the year, I'd say, so far. It was a recommendation from one of my friends, and I'm really glad she did. This is what that freaking movie, what is it called? The one with Selena Gomez, about the desaparecidas, that got an Oscar this year. Emilia Perez. This is what Emilia Perez thought it was, you know? Unfortunately, in a way, I mean, I'm glad for the author, but in this little like bio of the author here, it says it was sold to Amazon for a series, which is quite unfortunate, but that is Amazon. I mean, I'm really glad she's gotten a lot of success, but it's well deserved. I've never done this before, but I wanted to read a page from the end, which kind of captures the whole, like the global context of misogyny in Mexico and everywhere, and of femicide on a systemic global scale. So I'm just going to read a page and then I will stop there. But again, I highly recommend you read it. It's beautiful and horrible at the same time. Again, trigger warning, as I said previously, for all those themes. So, disposable women. I killed her because I loved her. I killed her because she was mine. How can you prove misogyny in court if the murderer says he loved her? Love is misogynist. A 16-year-old minor is raped and strangled. More than 100 women's rights activists have been murdered in the last 10 years. The victim was beaten to death in her own home by her husband after reporting him 20 times. 20. Reporting abuse is your best defense. Killed in your own home. Women killed for walking the streets at night. Women killed for being whores. In your own home. Nowhere is safe, nowhere. Being a woman means living in a state of emergency. He murdered his wife in front of their 5-year-old daughter. Women killed in a hit and run, shot to death in her own room. There is no room of one's own when men think our bodies belong to them. Buried under her bathroom floor, there is no room of one's own. Every 2 hours and 25 minutes, a woman in Mexico is strangled, raped, dismembered, burned alive, mutilated, beaten to a pulp, and left with bruises and broken bones. A woman's body, another woman, some woman, a nameless woman. A lifeless body was found, but none of them was yours. Went back to the Bridge Theatre to see A Midsummer Night's Dream. It was like this interactive experience where some of the public could be like on stage. As you can see, we weren't, we were seated, which I'm very glad we weren't, because you had to move around. I think it would have stressed me out, like I was way better seated. But it was really cool. I think if you're into that, it was really fun, and it was very queer. Honestly, we had so much fun. It was a great production. I think it was a rerun because they did it a couple of years ago and it had so much success that they did it again. And honestly, like, well done to the crew and the cast. We had a really wonderful time. Then I went to Brixton to hear one of our members of the European Parliament, French member of the European Parliament, called Rima Hassan, who is also Palestinian and French.
And if you don't follow her on social media, you should, because she's been very, very vocal on the genocide, obviously, and the Palestinian cause.
I couldn't sleep last night, so I finished the second book of the month. It's called Parmi, toutes autres by Hélène Veyssier. I'm gonna be short on this one because I was really long on the other one. It was overall like a nice read, nothing like groundbreaking to me, but I quite like the story because I thought it was quite imaginative. It's the story of an opera rat, as we call in France, which are the little rats of the opera, we call them. They are the ballerinas in the opera, but not the main, like danseurs étoiles, the little ones around, kind of the supporting dancers. And she's only 15, and she gets, I would say, gets abused by Edgar Degas, who's a very famous impressionist painter. It's not, I don't think it's based on true facts, but it's imagined, meaning she's 15 and he's 40, and he takes, not abuses her, he takes advantage of her, that's what I meant. And from then, so they have sex, and from then she spends her life being madly in love and obsessing about him, even though they never see each other again. And it has like effects on her whole life. Even though she gets married, she has a different life and stuff. So I wonder how they come up with those ideas of, I mean, authors, of just thinking like, oh, I'm going to write about a little rat of the opera falling in love with Edgar Degas and this kind of power dynamics and obsession and blah blah. So it was quite good. I enjoyed it. It was quick. I read much faster in English, in French than I do in English, so that's why it's already second book of the month. Guess for how long I'm going on holiday for? 5 days. It's just, you know, like when I know there's going to be a car, I just can't be bothered to really pack, so I just take whatever.
Started our holiday by watching a football game. It was FC Bromley, which is where Cam is from, against the youth team of Tottenham, which is their favorite team in Cam's family. It was actually really fun. We had a really good time. And then we drove to Portsmouth to get the ferry for the Isle of Wight. Little road trip. Yoo-hee!
We've made it to the ferry after almost
the least stressful experience of my life. So easy, no complaints, do it all again.
We couldn't find the ferry terminal, and like I made us late because we went to meet a friend, my friend who lives in Portsmouth, for a coffee, even though we were really early, and then we just had like 30 minutes to spare.
I was tweaking.
And we couldn't find the terminal, and it was like, oh my god, there's 25 minutes before our boat. We're good now, we're here. It's not even there, we've got 15 minutes. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
We made it.
Woo!
In the cutest little Airbnb, look at this. These are all the host's paintings. She painted all of them. And then she's made us some bread, some fruits, some honey, coffee, marmite. And she's made us some yogurt, some fresh milk, marmalade. So cute. And then here's the little bedroom. This is the little garden. It's kind of like its own detached house in the shape of a container, and it has a little swing, a whole little garden area, and then this is her house. And we can also use her garden if we want, but we've got our own little garden here. And then I'll show you the container from the outside. Look, it's so sweet.
The next day we went for a walk to the Needles. It was very, 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 very warm, and there was not a lot of shade, as you can tell. But so I got a bit like of a heat stroke or heat fatigue, let's say, at the end of it. But it was really worth it. It was such a beautiful, beautiful place.
Nothing says summer more than a pasta salad with the love of your life.
Who's that?
Then we did a little tour of the coast. This was in Ventnor, which is kind of southwest of the island. And this woman called Britannia was living in this house by herself and getting bullied by the kids, which I thought was really sad and also relatable. And we went to a delicious pub. The food was really good, and so was the fish. I had a classic fish and chips, but I just love fish and chips. Yay! And Cam had some meat. And then it was basically just a few wonderful beach days. We swam every single day, which made us feel so replenished and happy. And then it was time to get back, and the whole reason why we did that trip in the first place was because my friend was having her kids' birthday parties in Portsmouth. I didn't film the kids for obvious reasons, but she had like lots of like soft play things like this, and I think the kids had a really wonderful time, and for us it was obviously very fun as well. And that's what we did the whole Sunday, really.
So, we're doing the debrief from our holidays. I look a bit disheveled just because it's the first day of my period, so give me a break. So what did you think? Do I have stuff in my teeth? No, it's okay. What did you think?
It was really nice. The Airbnb was lovely. We were very lucky with the weather the whole week. And
we had a great time.
yeah.
The Isle of Wight is really beautiful. We got in the water every single day. It just felt really special and homey. This was good too. And then we went to Portsmouth to help my friend with her kid's birthday party. But it was also really lovely to see her and to bond with the kids, also because she's alone with 3 little kids. And they're really sweet and good kids. And yeah, and now we took the Monday off work and we're just sitting in the park. We had lunch, we had some lentils with feta, spinach, onion and eggs, full of iron for me. And now we're having strawberries because they're full of vitamin C and it helps
you absorb the iron.
Helps you absorb the iron. And tomorrow we're back at work. I'm alive. I had 2 of the most painful periods I've ever had in my life. Like really, really intense, almost like contractions of my uterus and really huge blood clots, which it's only happened to me twice in my life. I usually have I can't complain when it comes to my period compared to some people. So it was very much unexpected and really horrible. Like yesterday I had to go to the office and I felt really faintly in the tube because it was too warm and I was in too much pain. Like I was really poorly for 2 days, which never happens to me, so that was humbling. But I'm coming out of it. I think it's probably stress from work and like the unknown uncertainty. You can see I also have like loads of pimples and stuff, so I think that's probably it. But it's a shame because I had such a lovely holiday right before that. I wanted to explain what I'm gonna do in the next few days. So I have a friend who's also a colleague from the
our office in Switzerland, coming for a few days because she got tickets to go see Oasis. Cameron makes fun of me because I called them Oasis. In Manchester, so she asked me if she could stay for a couple of days, like have London as a base for 4 days and then go to Manchester for 24 hours and come back, which I was like fine because we get along really well, we're the same age. And so she's going to stay, she's arriving tonight. Tomorrow we're gonna go to the office together. Tomorrow evening I have my leavers drinks with the rest of the London office, which should be interesting. I organized it all, even though like for everyone else, like usually it's other people organizing it, but it's okay. Not the person leaving, but that's fine. I just kind of want to just get it over with. And then on Friday, we're working from home. We're gonna go get our nails done. I know I said I wouldn't, but my friend wants to, so I will go with her. It's like a nice little cute bonding activity.
On the Friday, we went to the Institut Français to see a screening of the Ballad of Suzanne Césaire. If you don't know who she is, I encourage you to look her up. She was a surrealist writer, and with her husband, Aimé Césaire, they created one of the first Afro-Caribbean cultural journal called Tropique. And then the next day, my friend Jess and I got the absolutely cheapest tickets, last row, to go see Evita at the London Palladium with Rachel Ziegler, and it was absolutely incredible. We then went to watch the Euros, France against Germany. Unfortunately, we lost. I'm back. What a crazy busy day. I was out almost all day. My room is a mess over here. But I quite liked last time when I filmed a little get on ready with me in my bathroom after a busy day. So that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, washed my hands, got rid of my clothes. And I'm ready to get unready. So today I met Cam and his friends from school for brunch. Then I met my friend Jess to go see Evita, which was absolutely incredible. What was really incredible was obviously Rachel Ziegler, but also the fact that there was a live orchestra that was really like top notch. It was so powerful, so wonderful. Then I went to my friend Olivia's drinks for her birthday, and I didn't film any of that. And then we went to a bar for... look at my nails, how fun. My friend Elisa said they're the lesbian flag, which I adore. And yeah, talking about lesbian flag, then we went to the bar to watch France against Germany, the women's Euros football. And well, first two things happened. First, went for a drink, and someone who was at the drink, not gonna name names, was like, "Oh, are you coming for dinner after?" And I was like, "Well, I'd like to watch the game at 8. And he was like, "What game?" And I said, "The quarterfinals of football." I didn't say women's football. And because you don't say men's football, so why would I have to say women's football? And he was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were into football." And then someone said, "Yeah, it's women's football." And he was like, "Do you ever watch real football?" First of all, yeah, that the first thing that pissed me off. And then in the actual bar, there was this guy that was taking so much space. He's the only person you could hear in the whole bar, even though the bar was like 70% women. The one person you could hear was a man screaming and screaming. And mind you, like, sports is fun, you should be able to express your emotions, but this was like, again, like a man taking all the space in the public space that is not directly dedicated to him. Like, it's women's sports, like, you know, of course men can watch it, but don't make the space yours, you know, and because you make women uncomfortable, and you know, you shouldn't do that. And then there's this French player that she's called Dahlia, and she has short hair. Who gives a fuck, you know? And I mean, you know, in women's football, half of the team is gay. You shouldn't care about people's sexuality, but she is like obviously a masked lesbian, which no one cares, it's completely fine, it's great. But this guy, every time she came on the fucking screen, sorry for swearing, he was like, who is he? What is he doing here? Every time. And because he was so loud, I wasn't even next to him, I could hear him. And at one point it just started pissing me off so much, just like homophobic comments, like misogynistic comments. He was at the bar and I was like, okay, I'm done, I'm gonna go see him. I went to him, obviously he was very drunk, and I was like, can I make a comment? And he was like, no, go on. And like a prick, he was German because it was France against Germany, nothing against German, but like a German prick. And he was, you know, like the classic guy, like millennial fit, like really skinny jeans, like terrible haircut, like just picture, you know, a millennial white German guy, that's the guy. And he was like, yeah, go on. And I was like, every time that the Almeida comes on screen, you say, who the fuck is he? What is he doing here? It's a homophobic and misogynistic comment. And you shouldn't do that. It's major prick behavior. If you're gonna come in a space where you know they're going to show women's football, it's never okay to be homophobic, but you're going to be in a space where most people, like a lot of women, are queer. And having this kind of behavior is even less acceptable. Like, it's never acceptable, but you know what I mean? Like, I was just so angry. I tried to word it the best way possible. And he was like, yeah, can we have a discussion about this? Like, can we have a discussion about this? Like, yeah, maybe it was mean, but like, why are you so angry? And I was like, I'm not angry, I'm not here to have a discussion, we're done. I said what I had to say. This was in front of the barman, and the guy like looked at me and he was like, the barman, and then he was like, he wouldn't serve him anymore because the guy was also obviously very drunk, and he was like, yeah, we don't stand for homophobic and sexist comments, and I think you should just stop drinking and go home. And then the guy started like, you know, just looking at me from behind the bar and being like, and I pretended I ignored him even though I clearly saw him. And then eventually, because he couldn't get any drinks anymore, he was kind of forced out of the bar. And yeah, that just, you know, when you know you're in the right, but it's still really scary also because it's a man. I was thinking, what if he loses his shit and he throws something at me, or he starts becoming aggressive? Like, I was there with my friend Jess, who's, you know, we're both the same size, like what's gonna happen, you know? And yeah, so I was shaking even though I knew I was in the right. And yeah, he kept saying like, why are you being so aggressive? It was not being aggressive, it was being assertive, you know? And I was just very shaken off by the whole thing. Obviously, I know all of this exists. It's not like, I mean, but it's always shocking when you actually encounter such blatant, obvious homophobia and like sexism in a space that is supposed to be safe. Then the barman came to me and he apologized. He was like, if you had come to me, I would have done something myself. It shouldn't be your responsibility. They were really nice about it. But yeah, anyway, it fucked up my night because that's all I could think about. And I was like, did I word it well? Like, did I say something wrong? Like, you know, did he understand what I mean? And did he think that, like, I'm sure in his head he thought I was like an hysterical woke woman, or did I word it well enough that like he's going to think about his behavior? The thing is, this kind of pricks don't ever think about their behaviors. Anyway, that was the night. So the day was really good, and then it kind of got ruined by this, which like pisses me off that like I've got so many great memories in our life that have been ruined by men's behavior in public, making you feel unsafe or yeah. Wait, last thing. You know how last time I went to see Carmen, the opera, and I said it's crazy how many bangers this opera has? Well, Evita has the bangerest banger of all time. that like I never think about listening, but it's such a good song. And I've known it forever because my dad used to sing it to me when I was a kid, because, fun fact, he actually went to see Evita, the show, well, the musical, in the 80s in the same theater that I went to today. And yeah, Don't Cry For Me Argentina is such a good song, and she sang it so well today.
And on the Sunday, we went to this private infrared sauna because there was an offer on Instagram. It was like £20 for the hour, I believe. And it was really, really, really cute and really nice. It was really relaxing, also because it was raining outside, so it was the perfect little nook of relaxation for Cam and I. We had a really good time. And then I tried Uyghur food with my friend Jess again for the very first time. It was our first time for the both of us, actually. Unfortunately, the menu was very meaty, and I don't eat red meat. There was a lot of lamb, but what we got was really delicious.
I've got Korean mayo.
Korean mayo sounds good. I realized I forgot to talk about the book that I finished this week, called Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. He's an Iranian-American poet. This is his first novel, and it's just a wonderful book. Yeah, there's a reason why it's a bestseller. One thing about me is that I love Iranians. My aunt is Iranian, so are obviously my cousins. My mom's best friend's Iranian. I've just been raised and surrounded by a lot of Iranian people in my life, and I think they're wonderful. They're wonderful people, and I think also in Farsi, it's a very poetic language, which is why like some of the world's greatest poets are Persian. And this is at the junction between like poetry and fiction. And I love the format, which I think is very novel. I mean, it's been done before, but the way it's done here is really great because the main character is a writer. So you have pieces of the actual story and then pieces of his writing. So and it gives it a really nice rhythm, and it's slow and beautiful at the same time. The gist of it is that this guy, the main character, is obsessed with becoming a martyr and the concept of martyrs in general, and of his death having meaning. But it's this whole question of like, how can your death have meaning if your life doesn't? And not gonna speak too much about it, too much more. I just highly recommend you read it. It was great. So I went to the office for the afternoon, all empty. My last day with no one. I literally didn't speak to anyone face to face today. It feels very weird and like not really real. I've been sending loads of messages to my clients and also my colleagues to say goodbye. I didn't receive a single message from my boss. Expected. I think it's been a really emotional day. I had a really nice conversation with one of my managers who I really like, and that was very emotional, and with a couple of other people from the company. But I think I just been feeling really kind of undervalued for the past few months at work, and I think it's kind of just hitting me now. So it's been quite intense. Like, even though I know it's the right thing to do for me, there's this big fear of the unknown because I don't know what I'm going to do next, really. And I think all the feels are hitting me all at once on a Friday afternoon. I'm just going to clean up my phone now and leave the keys and go to a protest for Gaza. I think this has the situation, the genocide in Palestine and people being starved to death have had a big impact on also the way I feel this week on top of it. So I think I'm not reacting the way I would usually to a lot of things as well. But a protest always makes me feel better because it makes me feel like there's actually something we can do about it, even though I feel really hopeless at the moment. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I think I might end the vlog. I know it's only the 25th, but I feel very exhausted. So yeah, I think that's what might happen. I don't know. Maybe actually I will end the vlog with like something cute from home because I'm going home on Monday. We'll see. But yeah, I'm just tired. Alors, dégustation Dubai chocolate.
Dubai
Take
chocolate.
one.
Le vrai, hein? The real one.
The real one.
The OG. OG ou OG? OG.
Fais péter le chocolat, ma vache.
Bah, déjà, il faut l'ouvrir. Je le pousse.
Il est sick.
J'ai des ciseaux là-bas. si tu veux.
C'est pour pas qu'on le vole. Ah oui, c'est vrai. C'était bon, c'est ça.
Madeleine.
L'emballage est sympa. Waouh.
Dubai chocolate.
Ouh.
What a nice thing.
Nutrition facts. Oh
T'as
là
les
là. 124.
Oh,
Oui, bah,
ma
ça va.
lunette.
Oh, il est beau.
Partageons ce Dubai chocolat tous
Oui.
les deux, mon amour, avec Dubai.
Non, pas Loulou Bail.
La boubou.
Mon la boubou. Un petit peu de chocolat.
Mais tu pouvais pas attendre.
Non. Alors.
Oui, comme ça, gros. Moitié, ouais, c'est bien.
Ok.
Alors, qu'est-ce que
Allez,
c'est la
hop,
pistache?
allez.
La pistache.
Cheers.
Cheers for
Cheers,
the
je l'ai déjà
the
entamé.
Dubai. Mm.
Mmh.
What a taste.
Elle est crispy.
What a nice taste.
Oh là là.
Oh, amazing.
Moi, je suis pas mal en vrai, non?
Mm.
Ouais, en vrai, il est
Mais
bon.
je-
Il est crispy, il est bon.
Et
Je peux
je-
pas en manger beaucoup. par contre.
Testicule.
Qu'est-ce qu'il dit, la boubou?
Il a voulu manquer un pied, le pauvre.
C'est mon chien qui l'a mangé.
Ouais, ben,
Regardez comme c'est beau.
C'est bon.
C'est
C'est
bon,
bon,
ça.
c'est bon, il n'y a rien à dire.
C'est
Oui.
pas mal.
Ouais.
And then with my mom, we went to the yearly exhibition that they have in Monaco. This year, the theme was Couleurs, so colors. So in the center, you had this kind of circle divided by primary colors. And the whole exhibition was kind of organized around it, so divided by the primary colors. And they put some sensory rooms with smells and music that would remind you of a certain color. It was really, really well done. Got to see a painting from one of my favorite painters for the first time in real life, Polish painter Tamara de Lempicka. I had only ever seen them in like art shops, and I bought a few like reproductions throughout the years. But yes, I was really happy about that. Overall, it was a great exhibition. And at the end, because these were all artworks from the Centre Pompidou in Paris, at the end there was a little spiel about how the Centre Pompidou was built, and the Centre Pompidou is one of my favorite buildings in Paris, so that was also really nice to see. Last book I read in July is Le Sens de la Fuite by Hajar Azell. It was a beautiful book that talks about a journalist that becomes a war reporter during the Arab Spring, and it takes you through Egypt, Lebanon, Algeria, Syria, and also it's very introspective as to why is she doing this and why is she fleeing her own life. I absolutely loved it. It was beautifully written, and I highly recommend you read it if you can. That's the end of the month. Thank you so much for watching.